Got a pretty deep problem with how I'm running my life and my business. You see, I want more mornings like this.
It's too early for this.
It's never too early for an adventure.
I always say in these videos that the purpose of running a business and your personal finances like a business isn't to make the most money possible, but to actually get the enjoyment and freedom that you want out of your life. But when I talked about that in a recent video, I got a comment from someone that made me feel a couple of emotions that I wasn't trying to feel. Jero said, "A day in the life on a day off enjoying yourself video is in store, I think." Jay's always around in the comments, and I think that those eyes at the end there he knew would just stare into my soul, eating me up. Because even though I just made a video about building businesses around your life so that you enjoy life and enjoying life outside of work, did I actually enjoy life outside of work? Was there life outside of work? Could I even make that video if people wanted me to, or am I just a boring workaholic? So I worked up the cowardice and responded, not sure how many people would be interested in a day in the life while I'm off, because I can't get into all of those emotions while I'm replying to a YouTube comment. And today's whole fun morning of the hot air balloon ride is honestly one of the only cool or fun things that I did where I didn't just spend the whole time thinking about work over the past year. And if you're building a business or even just work a stressful job, I know that you could probably relate to feeling like you always have to grind or hustle. And I know that it does come in some seasons, but that's another word that we'll get to some of my thoughts on here in a second. But another thing that I've really struggled with is actually getting everything that I want to done. Not only in business, although that is oftentimes a struggle, but also just in life. Doing things like building relationships and doing hobbies are things that I struggle with that I didn't think I would have to struggle with before I left my job. But if you do any work for yourself, you probably relate to this a little bit as well. And this is especially important because we're trying to make one of my wife's childhood dreams come true over this month or so, and I honestly feel like my work is holding me back from that. Well, not exactly my work, more so how I'm approaching building my business right now, and this is kind of where all of this stems from. This is what we have on the table every month, and we're talking in months because I'm committing to what I'm going to lay out here until September 10th, a month from today, and then we'll check back in. First is the YouTube channel. I don't have to post 3 videos a week, but I'm trying to make this a good source of income for myself before we achieve my wife's childhood dream and move into a new stage of life. So I'm still trying to put out 3 videos every week on this channel, and then 1 live stream every 2 weeks is what we'll say for now. Tomorrow, Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern if you want to come by. And that's pretty much it in terms of what I have to do that's outward facing for YouTube, and we can break down what goes on the back end in a different video if you'd like. Then, the main way that I'm making money right now, even though that's shifting closer to YouTube, is through retail arbitrage, in other words, reselling through Amazon FBA. I try to spend $1,500 to $2,000 every 2 weeks, and then I send out 2 shipments per month because I'm trying to do this every 2 weeks. It hasn't quite worked out that way recently if you know about my channel, but that's pretty much the goal that I'm trying to do, is spending $3,000 to $4,000 every month on inventory. And so if we broke that down over the course of a month, theoretically, I could be working 38 to 53 hours per week. And honestly, as I was scripting this video, I thought that it was going to be a lot more. This doesn't account for error, but it's actually less than I thought, which is one of the major problems we'll get to. Also, how the heck did that get there? Now, working for yourself is amazing, but it can be difficult with so many distractions. You think we should change the angle a little bit? Is this distracting you? Yesterday, Monday, which is normally a great day to work because you're rejuvenated after the long weekend, I ended up only doing an hour and 27 minutes worth of work. And that's because I didn't have to do anything. I was tired. I got distracted really easily and didn't even do something that was enjoyable with that time off, which is essentially what most of yesterday was. So I just played stupid games on my phone and watched videos on my computer. That's what they mean when you're supposed to add sound effects to your videos, right? To yourself. But another distraction that I didn't even script into the video, but I think is really important to mention, is checking analytics, because that feels like work, but most of the time when you check analytics or check your sales, you're not actually doing something that's beneficial for your business. It's just something to give you an endorphin rush, to be quite honest. At least it is for me, but a part of this is actually going to be setting out time to go through my analytics and actually use them to further my business instead of just getting distracted by them, because then I feel like I've actually done something useful with them when I haven't, so I don't check them in depth, but then I also waste a bunch of time because it takes me out of other work. But the other and arguably bigger problem, which this kind of stems from, is not giving myself the correct parameters for how I work. And so that means that I'll tend to work 55, 65, sometimes upwards of 80 hours. It depends on the week, and we'll get into if I'm actually working during those times. But for this month, through September 10th, I'm committing to only working 40 hours a week, which I know kind of sounds like, okay, yeah, you're planning on working 40 hours a week, but if you work fully for yourself, you probably understand how hard that can be. But setting those parameters, I think, will really help me avoid burnout while still getting everything and probably more done in my business and enjoying my life a lot more. Here's how. But if you're wondering how I'm enforcing that, it's literally just with the timer on my phone. I've been working for an hour and 52 minutes and 39, 40 seconds today, and then I track it like I showed you earlier, where yesterday I worked an hour 27. Today, since I only worked that yesterday, I'll probably work 10, 11 hours, but making sure that I hit a 40-hour cap in the week. Now, the first reason I think this is going to help a lot is because you'll work for as long as you give yourself. You might have heard of this before or experienced it yourself, but it's also called Parkinson's Law, and it just basically means that however long you give yourself to finish a task, you're going to take that long to do it. Obviously, there are some tasks that just inherently take a lot of work to do, but oftentimes you'll be able to find systems or ways to get things done faster if you give yourself a more constrained time period. And I can give a billion examples of this, but the best one probably is this video that you're watching right now. Right now it's 1:46 p.m. and today is Tuesday, the day that this video needs to go up if I want to get 3 videos done this week and have a live stream on Wednesday that doesn't kill a video that I post the same day, which is what I did last time. You can watch that video over here. But if you're watching this video today and hopefully I'm able to get it up before 7 or 8 o'clock, that means I was able to film and edit, upload, title, and thumbnail, do all the post-production, and get it up in like a 5-hour period, which I would have never thought possible just a couple months ago when I was taking 16 to 20 hours per video, if not more. So by only giving myself 40 hours to do all of the work that we said, unadjusted for risk, would take 38 to 53 hours, my problem-solving brain and yours too will find ways to create systems to do all of that work faster, one of which is pretty commonly known as called batching, which is where you just sit down and do a bunch of the same type of work. For instance, later today, if I can get this video done in time, I'm going to sit down and think through videos for the next 3 or 4 weeks, and then hopefully write as many of those as I can, because I'll be in the flow of writing videos, and writing videos versus shooting videos versus editing videos are all completely different workflows, and I'm excited to find new ways over the course of this month, which I'll report back to you in a month, that help me do the same amount of output in a far less amount of time. But I think one of the big struggles that I have had with this, and one of my biggest failings as someone who works for myself, is that I don't actually give myself time to work. That obviously doesn't mean that I don't work, it just means that work is actually my default position. If I'm not doing anything, the default is gonna be work, or that time is allotted to work, rather than enjoying myself or enjoying my life or doing hobbies. So instead of my month starting out like this, where I can fill every day with work and play and adventure and other things that are valuable to me, my month ends up starting out looking like this, where every single day the assumed default is just work. And so if anything wants to be added to my schedule, I have to kind of squeeze it in between here, fun, or over here, time with Carissa. And that's just not a healthy default to be living under, because then everything that isn't work feels to you like an interruption or an obstruction from you getting your work done. And that's a really easy place to live because of hustle culture and kind of this thing that's perpetuated on social media, that you always have to be working 24/7 in order to survive, in order to live. And that can really get ingrained into your mind and into your mentality, and I'm definitely been guilty of that. I don't think guilty is the right word, but that's been something that's been true of me in the past. Look, I don't know if I'm right about any of this, but I do know that the way that I'm working right now doesn't work, so I need to find a new way to do that, and so let's at least run this test and try it out. Especially because I think I can honestly do more and make more money in a 40-hour work week than I have been doing now, because even though I have potentially hundreds of hours or 100+ hours of work every single week, I don't actually do a lot of deep work. A lot of my work gets distracted because things can emotionally throw me off, because I don't have a constrained limit of time that I need to work or get stuff done. So because of that, my mind is always in work mode, and I'm always either distracted or anxious or tired or in deep work, but that deep work part is far less of the time than the other 3, and so if I can have that deep work for a specific 40 hours, and then with the rest of my time, lessen my anxiety and up my enjoyment and my intimacy with my wife, those are big benefits of trying to do this. Let's talk about seasons, because I've said over and over again when I'm trying to kind of defend my workaholism that, oh, it's just a season of hard work. And working for this many hours is just a season of life that is necessary in order to build my business. And I don't think that's not true, but hear me out. Have you heard this progression in your life ever before? Oh, because I need to leave my job and start my own business. I need to work my job hours plus extra hours in order to build my business. It's just a season of hard work, and then I'll leave my job and be able to relax a little bit, take my foot off the gas. And then it becomes, oh, this season I need to work all the time because I need to build my YouTube channel now that my reselling business is doing fine, but I more enjoy doing YouTube, and that's what I left my job for. So we're gonna need to continue working hard for a while, even though I already left my job and said we could let up a little bit. I need to work harder now and press more into that, but it's just for a season. And then it's, oh, well, I finally got monetized on YouTube and it's growing, but it's not enough to live on yet, so we'll just keep working a little bit harder, and then eventually we'll be able to take life a little bit easier and not have to worry about it too much. It's just a season. But then it can easily just turn into, oh, well, I'm already making enough money with YouTube to start investing, but we're only investing $500 per month. We really need to be investing $1,000 or $2,000 per month. So if I just work a little bit harder and get up to that level, then we'll be able to actually let up the gas and It's just a season, don't worry, it's just a season. And then you get the point. And look, I totally don't disagree that there will be a lot of times where you have to work really long hours or really hard hours, especially when starting a business and building it from the ground up. But I've been treating seasons more like a Floridian than a Clevelander. Is Clevelander a word? That's where I'm from, but I don't even know if that's a word or not. In Florida, you have seasons where it's hot and then a little bit colder hot, but then also 1 week where it's like mid-50s and it's winter, and then you're pretty much back to being hot all the time. And so I've been living at a point where I'm always on. Sometimes a little bit less on, but a lot of times it's because of burnout, but always on nonetheless. And then sometimes you might take a couple days off, like the 4 days that I took off after the quarter was over, and then it's right back to working really hard, because that's kind of the only mode that you know. But then there are some days during the week that you have off and you feel like you're good, but a lot of times it's just because you crash and your brain's just saying, shut up about the work and actually do something that you enjoy that's not distracting or productive. So I bought a new guitar. That's not exactly the whole reason that I bought the guitar, but my wife convinced me to do it out of profit from our business and because it's something that I really enjoy doing but don't take the time to do because my old guitar was pretty crappy. But when I was thinking about seasons as a Clevelander or Ohioan, whatever you want to call me, you can actually experience tangible change as the seasons go around throughout the year. The fall looked different than the spring, which looked different than the summer, which looked different from the winter. And if you're saying it's a season of hard work where you're working really long hours and doing a ton, and you've built up your business to a point where it's kind of sustainable, might be a little bit scary to take some time off, but you're really burnt out, you might want to move into a different season. Not saying that you have to do less, but just like me, trying to actually put parameters around my work that makes sense to get all the same stuff done, just in a way that better fits my actual life, might be something that's worth it to at least try out. And like I said, it's just this season. You can go back to a season of really hard work, and I definitely see many more of those in my future, but each season will teach you something different. Working really hard definitely teaches you lots of perseverance and is really good, but working 40 hours will help to teach me a lot of different lessons that I don't think I could learn any other way. But why is all this important to me right now, and why did it come into such tangible focus? It's because of this guy. Our lease is up in October, and Chris has always wanted to live in a van, and the first time she told me that, I literally told her to her face that she was crazy. But ever since, she's kind of chipped me down, and now I'm really, really excited to move into the van in October and just get to travel and see so much, and hopefully some of you guys. It looks a lot less daunting at this angle. But as you can see, it's a really big mess right now, and given that we only have 2 more months in order to build it out at a maximum, we have a lot of work to do. We just got our fan in, we installed our aftermarket radio, we did a lot of wiring, but we don't have any floor, any bed, any kitchen. Even though we have 2 months, we like to be a little bit crazy, and we're trying to build this out in 1 month by around the middle of September. Hence my 1 month, 40-hour per week kind of deal, moving into another season, kind of out of necessity, but also this was just kind of the impetus to something that I've really needed to do in order to enjoy life a little bit more. My friend's getting married in mid-September back in Cleveland where we grew up. First off, it'd be nice to not have to spend money to get a plane ticket to head up there, but it'd also be really cool to spend the extra month that we would just be staying in our apartment and building out the van up in the Northeast watching the seasons change. Especially because we're planning on going to the Southwest for the winter and pretty much the whole rest of the year being in the western side of the US. So we're trying to get the van done before that wedding, so if I miss a post or messed up or something, that's actually okay. I'm giving myself grace to do that because of this new season that we're in, making sure that I'm working 40 hours, which by the way, we're at 2.5 hours for the day. And that way we can use all those refocused hours to turn this into this. Oh shoot, not that, into an actual home. So moral of this ramble or rant is that there's probably a much better way to actually get everything that you need to get done and enjoy your life and find a lot of fulfillment in your work over what a lot of hustle culture kind of pushes you to do. I don't know if this is it, but it's definitely something to try. This video is the one that Jay commented on and was the same day as the live stream. Check it out if you're interested in how I quit my job, but also how you can actually build businesses around the life that you want. Peace.